Here's the scarf we're making using the method I learned from corner to corner squares. Only instead of doing them corner to corner, like Mike did on Crochet Crowd. Thank you, Kat. Appreciate that. We started out with a square here, and then 2 corners, and then 3 corners, and like that. These are done lengthwise. I start with a solid edge, build my triangles on it. I build my squares off the triangles, and my squares off of those. So they go in linear strips like that. It's not very hard. I think you'll enjoy it, and I'd appreciate when you're done if you'd drop me a note and let me know if you like it or not. If you tried different yarns, different color schemes, I would love to know about it. Thank you so much. Here we go. Oh, kitty cat, you're laying on me. Started my scarf with the half double crochet foundation chain. I have about 5 feet 9 inches of it. This is going to be a nice long scarf. I'm using a 7-ounce skein of Red Heart Super Saver in real teal. $198 grams, 364 yards, 333 meters. Before I go into the actual crocheting, I'm going to do a graph because the graph really helped me when I first started doing this project, or the first time I did this. I got lost on the corners. Once I graphed, I was just fine. I knew exactly where I was. I ended up with nice straight edges, and I didn't have to go back and jury rig anything. So let's get started with the graph, and I'll show you how to handle this. All right, Cameron, be nice. That's a good boy. Now you're going to start off with your triangles, and I'm going to put real triangles on here because that follows my graph paper. So we start off this way, building our triangles. Now, because it's hard to make a graph switch from right to left-handed, you're just going to have to bear with me on this. Let's say you're starting here on your foundation, and you're going to be building your triangles in this direction. When you get to the end, any end, either end, when you get to an end and you're at your side, you're at your base, you're going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. You're going to take the first stitch and you're going to come back and you're going to make a slip stitch in the first available place. From there, you're going to make a single, a half double, and a double. And I'm going to bring all this back up to here so I can follow the inside triangles. You will end right here. You will be at the cross piece of your top triangle. So you'll go up from that, chaining 3. You'll do your 3 doubles in the middle, slip stitch here. Actually, you'll be slip stitching right here in the top of your in the space of the bar. Be using the spaces of the bar everywhere. So you'll slip stitch here in the space, chain up 3, and do your 3 half doubles. Slip stitch into the bar, chain up 3, and do your 3 half doubles. Now, when you get to the end of the row and you're not on the edge, so One way you'll always be on the edge, one way you'll never be on the edge. You are going to go out just as if you were doing a square. You chain up 3. You do your double, your half double, your single, and your slip stitch. And then you will slip stitch in each of these, back up, slipping the last one into here, because this is like your crossbar. And then you'll go up from here and start your next set of squares. Slip stitch, go up, start your next set of squares. Just like that across. Now when you get to the other end, you're back down here at the edge, because you start here, you do your 3 doubles, and you end up slip stitching right back here into the edge. So on this edge, every time you will chain up 5. I'll go up to the top this time. You slip stitch into the first one available, then you do your single, your half double, your double, slip stitch into here, and you're ready to go off in the other direction. So the rule is, when you finish a side, and you'll get mixed up on the sides, that's why I did it this way. If you finish a side and you end up on the side, you chain up 5, slip stitch, and work your way back down to your square. If you finish and you are on the other side, you will always finish away from your side. This will be vacant. When you finish away from your side, then you do the next one just as start the next one just as if you're doing a square. Do your double, half double, single, slip stitch, and then slip stitch back up, slip stitching the last time into the bar, chain up 3, and start off in your other direction. Okay? That's the only rules you have to remember. If you're on the edge, then you chain up 5 and you increase coming down to your starting point. If you're away from the edge, you start off like a square and you decrease down the side until you reach the edge. Then you slip stitch up and you start back in the other direction. Okay, that'll work for any flat piece you do that you want straight edges on. Okay, I hope I didn't confuse you. I hope I made it clearer, because when you actually have hands-on doing, it's going to be like, what? So let's get started on it. And I'm going to start by chaining up 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to come through probably the second from the bottom. Whoops, don't yarn over. Pardon me. I'm going to come in through here to the side and pull up a loop. I'm going to skip this first stitch, come into the second stitch, and do a double. Now, this gives me a stronger edge because I won't have this triple sticking out over here. I'll have a much stronger edge here, and that's why I did that. Okay, so that's my double. Yarn over, half double, single, and slip stitch. There we go. Now I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, yarn over, do a double, yarn over, do a half double, do a single, and a slip stitch. Okay, good start. 1, 2, 3 chains. Yarn over. In the next stitch, we put a double. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. wrap, go into the very next stitch, pull up a loop through all three. That's our half double. Go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through those two, and that's your single. Then we slip stitch and we're right on our way back, 2, 3, to our chain. Okay, now when we come back, we're going to be building our squares off of these stitches here. Okay, so we come back, our squares will be going this direction. So these are the platforms from which we build our stitches. And don't worry that this is going to start curving a little bit. These are going to seem longer, but we'll be drawing them in when we do our slip stitch and go into our bar. It'll turn out right. Don't worry. I came to the end of my triangles, slip stitch into my last stitch over here. And again, if you miscounted and you ended up with too many or not enough, drop back a couple and settle it back here, not on your very edge. Good idea is if you had too many, you can combine 2 stitches back here. You can combine your single and your slip stitch. If you don't have enough, then in this stitch that you can chain up in, you can put your double there. And that'll give you the extra stitch you need. So when you get to the end, you can slip stitch right on the edge of your foundation. Now come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the first available stitch down, we want to do a slip stitch. Then you want to do a single crochet. Because we're on the edge away, we have to work our way back up to here. So we have to get longer each time. Then we're going to do a half double. And then we're going to do a double. And we're going to come right up here in the bar and we're going to slip stitch. And we have our edge started. See? Now from here we just chain up 1, 2, 3, and do 3 doubles in that crossbar. Come up into the top of our next triangle, slip stitch, chain up 3, and we're back on our way. 3 doubles, and slip stitch. And one last time. 1, 2, 3 chains, and 1, 2, 3 doubles, and slip stitch. Now you work that down to the end of your line, and we'll work on the other corner. I'm at the back at my beginning where I started my first triangle, and here's your edge down here where your foundation is. So you aren't ending on your edge. You're ending where you have a crossbar. So you're going to go on just as if you're starting a square, chain up 3, do your double and a half double and a single, and slip stitch right into the top here, the top of your foundation, and turn. Now you're going to slip stitch your way up Don't make them too tight. And then you want to slip stitch into this bar because you're going to start your next square. And remember, on this end again, you're away from your edge. When you come back here, you'll be going out and coming down. So we chain 1, 2, 3, and we start our squares again. 3 chain and 3 double crochets and slip stitch. And you can clearly see that you have your edge here and you have your squares slanting, so this is not a straight edge anymore. When you come back, you'll have to make your new triangle. All right? Going back in the other direction, complete your row of squares, doing chain 3 and 3 double crochets all the way up. And I think you should have the hang of it by now, but I'm going to give you another couple little looks at it. Okay? See you there. Back at the end, we made our first funky looking corner here. And we chain up 3 and do our 3 double crochets. We'll find ourselves right at the edge of our project. Just like there. We're going to slip stitch into this end. Here's our edge. We are at our edge, so we have to come up and we have to create another triangle for here. So we're going to turn it. And chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back and slip stitch into the first available stitch. And then do a single. We're out on the edge here, so we have to get bigger as we go down. And then a half double. And then our double. And then we come right up here into our bar and do our slip stitch once again, and we have our edge. So every time we come in this direction, we'll be ending on the edge, and we'll be doing this type of a corner square, a corner triangle. And then you're just ready in perfect position to go back in the other direction and do your squares. Whoops. I'm always getting something stuck in my yarn. Yesterday it was the mouse. Today it's my glasses again. Now I'll do the other end one more time for you. And then you go ahead and you make it as wide as you think you need, minus from the tips of your top squares, minus whatever your edging is going to be, because your triangles are going to fit down the cracks between your squares. So essentially you want to keep making your rows of squares with your end triangles until you get it pretty much as wide as you want it, minus the half double edging. Okay? I will go do the other end one more time, and then we'll come back and start the triangles. Okay, once more, I'm at my edge, but my square didn't end on the edge. That means we go up just like a square and we decrease down until we meet our edge. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4. I'm a very tight crocheter. I often have to try 4. And we're going to do our double, our half double, our single, and I'm going to slip stitch right into the top of this other slip stitch. Just like that. And I'm going to slip stitch back up. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to slip stitch into my edge so I can start my squares back. And slip stitch. So that is pretty much the gist of the whole thing. I'll see you when we get to the point where we have to put our triangles on. I've reached the other end at my tip here. I'm going to go through here, slip stitch, and turn. Turn this way because I got myself turned around over here. Okay. And turn. I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a double right back into here where I slip stitched. Okay, I'm going to try to put a double back here. Here we go, double, half double, single crochet, and now instead of going into here, I'm going to go into the chain and slip stitch. See there? I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to come down in here. See where I did my last stitch here? I'm going to do a double, a half double, a single, come down the top here and do my slip stitch. Just like that. Double, half double, single, and slip stitch. See? Taking my little poop-de-doops and turned them level. Again, right down here, you can see where it's connected here, where you slip stitched into it to go up. That's the one you want to go into for your double. And your half double, and your single, and this last chain here, you do your slip stitch. You do that all the way down. What we're doing is not quite mirroring what we did on the other side, except in the way we account for the stitches. On the other side, our slips, made our slip stitch and we chained up, and that became equivalent to a triple. Then we did double, half double, single, and when we slip stitched, that became the base for our next chain up. Well, here's our chain up, and we slip stitched into the top of it. So that mirrors that. Then we did the double. That's 1 stitch. The half double, that's 2 stitches. The single, that's 3 stitches. And our 4th stitch became our triple. We did our slip stitch down here. So we had double, half double, single, slip stitch all the way down, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what we need to mirror on this side, so our two sides will be equal. Now if you tried going back up this way and doing a single and then a half double and then a double and slip stitching, that would be a true mirror to what we're doing down here, because you'd have this little arch here. However, you also get these little bumps. So you'd have bump, 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 bump all the way down. When you do it this way, you ended up with a straight edge, and that's what I'm going for. So instead of being true to the pattern and making sure I go across the squares, I'm doing it this way so that I have a good straight edge. Just in case you're wondering why I'm doing it that way. Now I've reached my other end. I've done my double, my half double, my single, and instead of slip stitching down into this bar, which brings it down kind of in a dip for the very end, I'm going to slip stitch in the top of the stitch instead of in the bar. That makes it a little bit more level. And I'm going to come around. Should I work my end yet? No, I don't think I will. But this is what I'm going to do, odd as it sounds. I'm going to cut it off at this point. Leave the end good enough to tie in. And here's why. Here is the front. When I turned around, I came into the back. So I had this look on it. I don't think I'm explaining this very well. The thing is, if I just turn this and I go back this way, it's not going to match the side very well. See how I have this here, this rollover from coming in from the back when I did this? If I want to approximate that, I need to come in from the other side on here. And I can't do that if I'm just going back. So I cut it off, and I'm going to come all the way back here to this end, and I'm going to start here. And then my back will have this little roll over that you get from the back of the stitches, just like it did on the other side. I hope that makes sense to you. It makes perfect sense to me. I tried it both ways on the other end, and this is the way it most closely approximates what I want. So, that's the nice thing about crocheting. You just tear it out, start over. Okay. So I'm going to go right into this end stitch. I went into the stitch instead of into the hole. My chain a little longer than that. My tail. I'm going to chain 3. And because it's an end, I'm going to come in here and grab a piece of my chain, come down into my next stitch, and I'm going to do a half double. Just like that. Wrap through the hole, bring up a loop, wrap through all 3. Excuse me. Wrap through the hole, bring up a loop, yarn over, and bring the loop through all 3. Now, you see here? Can you see what I mean by this? See where you have this raised edge look, from a little shinier edge look from where these stitches backed up. I'm getting the same effect on this side, so my edges will look a lot more alike. The other way, I'd have one edge that looked like this and one edge that looked like this, and they wouldn't really look the same. So like I said, you just do whatever it takes, change it as you need to. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this edge. I will come back and I will do probably a single crochet along the end here. I'll think about it. Yeah, at least a single crochet, maybe even a half double. See you then. I'm at my end. And I think I'm going to get this little end out of the way here. Okay, now I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 half double crochets in that corner. Half crochet there. I'm going to put 3 half doubles here, one way or another. Oops. Let's see. These dips might require doubles instead of a half double. So I'll try that. I'll do a double there. And somewhere in here, stubborn. Okay. It's stubborn because that's where I did my slip stitching up the side. This is the end. I did the slip stitches on the end. Stop and take a peek at your work. Okay. I'm going to do another double here in this dip. See, the double's making it stay level. Double here, and a half double here. Keep it consistent, a half double there. Come down here and do a double. See, it's crowded over here because I didn't go back in here. I'm going to go in here. Closer up. Like that. Do you notice I keep forgetting to wrap? Get concentrated on something and I forget what I'm doing. Now I'll do my second here. Then I can do my third one here. And then do my double down here. Okay, so I need 1, 2, 3. half double, half double, half double, and I don't have a dip over here. So I'll just continue with half doubles. One way or another, I'm determined to have a nice looking edge here. That'll work. Okay. Now all I have to do is weave in all my ends. This little marker I put at the halfway point so I'd know when I was halfway around. And here's my scarf, front and back. Looks pretty consistent. Pretty pattern. I think I like it. What do you think? You like that? Okay. There you have it. That's the straight corner to corner without using the corner to corner. Whoops. I can't remember what nutso. Instead of having a corner and then 2 squares and then 3 squares and then 4 squares and so on, I did it this way. I hope you liked it. I hope you're going to like your scarf. I'd like to know what colors you made, how you did yours. I imagine it'll look interesting if you did one color this way and one color that way. You could even make it bright and festive and like reds and oranges and yellows and browns. Anyway, let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy crocheting, everybody. Just this little bit. Okay, there's an alternative edge you can do. And I wanted to show that to you. If you did a shorter scarf than mine, you'll have more than enough material to do it. I might even have it myself. I doubt it though. It's a real yarn user. Okay, I slip stitch into the side, actually one of the ends here. Pull up a loop, yarn over. Now you're going to start a puff stitch. 1, yarn over, go through again, 2, yarn over, pull it through all 3, all the ones on your hook. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull through all of them. You do that 3 times. Now if you just want the puff edge around, you can just do this in every stitch around and you'll have this nice puff edge. That looks nice too. Or once you have 3 of them, you can skip 2 stitches and slip stitch into the next stitch. And you just change the whole nature of it. You bring up a loop, stretch it up a little bit, come back down into your stitch, stretch, back into your stitch, stretch, pull a loop through, go to the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop through all those loops, and again, pull a loop through all of them, come down here to your, you have two here on your corner. You want one on this side of the corner, right here, like that. See there? Pull up a loop once, twice, pardon me. Pull up a puff stitch once, yarn over, twice, yarn over, 3 times, yarn over, pull through all. Then I'm going to come around to the stitch on this side of the corner and slip stitch. And I've done a corner. Okay? Now you rounded the corner, you just go ahead and yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and begin your puff stitch. 1, 2, through all, yarn over, 1, 2, through all, yarn over, 1, 2, through all, and skip 1, 2 stitches, come down and slip stitch. Do another one, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, through all of them. Yarn over, go into your base, pull up a stitch, yarn over, go back into the base, pull up a stitch, yarn over, and through all. Over, through, up, over, through, up, over, and through all. Skip 2 stitches, slip stitch into the 3rd. Well, that's a nice edge to make, isn't it? But anyway, you can do it that way. And like I said, you can make it straight up. Straight up and down. And all we do is go along like that. Bringing 2 major pull-ups from each one. So it's yarn over, into the next stitch, pull up, yarn over, pull up, and then yarn over and through all. And that'll give you your straight puff edge. Like that. I think this goes much better with this pattern, don't you? Another thing you could do, you could try, is 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches into 2. So 2 in this, 2 in this. And then skip 2 and do it again. 1 here and a second one. 1 in the next stitch and the second one. Skip 2 and repeat. And this gives you a different edge, fancy edge, and it's slightly reminiscent of your squares in here. You just want a slight puff, so you wouldn't want to put 4 in one, you'd have a fan that way. This way you have more of a slight puff like you do here. So that's another way to end this scarf, or any scarf that you've done your corner to corner on. Or you can do your straight puff, or you can do your slanted puffs. Or you can just leave it like that. I'm interested in what way you would pick to finish your scarf. You have another idea? Take one of these ideas and play with it. Enjoy. Happy crocheting, everyone.